Welcome back to Factorio, running the SpaceX mod on extreme settings, and yeah, it's good to be back. So I've had to take a bit of a break owing to, well, actually my mum passing away. So it's been about 6 weeks since I recorded. However, I've had a bit of a look around now, and yeah, let's get back into it. So I'm still behind in my uploads to YouTube, so it'll still be quite a while before this one comes out, but version 15 is supposed to be stable now, so that is great news. And we have done a few things since last time. Let's just have a look at the main map. Probably the main thing is over here, and it is, I changed this to 4 lanes for the copper because we were having a lot of difficulty having all of the copper ore trains getting into the copper plate, our distributed copper plate complex. It's not so bad at the iron, but we have another issue with the iron, which is basically these guys actually are struggling to fill. If you have a look, so this one's just turned up. Ideally it should just go straight to full, but you can see already that these requester chests have kind of run out of ore. So yeah, it's they're not working nearly as efficiently as they need to, which means I've got too many trains coming to the patch of iron ore, which means I need to bring on more iron ore. Probably, I was thinking probably this one, because the infrastructure's already there for this oil. Just have to be a little bit careful that we have room around the oil to build all of our miners, of course. There's also these ones down here which are reasonable. My real problem is I'm finding a lot more copper than I am iron, which, I mean, we've got these big coppers, we've got these ones we've basically ignored. I've got this massive one over here, 143 million, and the best iron I've got is this one, which is only 60. So, yeah. I mean, it could be that we're not seeing all of this iron, so it could be quite good, but yeah, I need more iron. And what else? Well, you can see that our FPS UPS is not doing that well, to say the least. Our coal here, 7.4, is slowly running out, so we need to bring some more online. This one, I don't really want that to be the path of bots. It's just a little bit too far. But also, because I'm now supplying these facilities out here with the refuel, the distributed processing plants with rocket fuel. Here it comes now, actually. Oops. There. So, how much have we got? It doesn't look like it needs any. 400. Yeah, it doesn't need any, so just back on its way. So it just goes back and forth to the mines, topping up the fuel depots, but they're using rocket fuel, so it takes quite a while to go through each one. It's basically the message that comes out of that. Yeah, these are struggling to fill up. Other issue that we have is I'm not actually getting any benefit here now because there's a rounding issue here too. If you notice, occasionally these ones don't run at all. That's because my controller, okay, I've done a lot to try and fix the rounding, but you occasionally get a rounding issue. So there, the way to read that, if you're reading off to the thing at the side, you can see 6 iron ore is being turned into iron plate, so 6 blocks of 4. 9 means between, so 7 to 9 is copper, and 10 to 14, it should be 10 to 15, but occasionally we get a rounding error, which reduces our efficiency a little bit. Where was all that there? Occasionally for a slightly extended period. What I might do, first of all, is this sort of sets the upper limit of how much we're after, and it also sets the ratio of how much we produce. So, for example, at the moment, well, let's just do it this way, it's probably a little bit easier. You can see that iron, we have 18,000, but we wanted 150,000 or 19,000. It jumps around somewhat. Copper, we're at 20,000, and steel is negative. So what that means is it's trying to set the majority to iron because of the number we've set here, and we are not getting there you go, it's back to 15. We're not getting as many, oh, and electricity's struggling as well. Where are we? Let's just have a quick look at that electricity. So that's another thing. So I built these accumulators, and there's a reason why I used accumulators rather than, I know it's quite a popular thing to store the steam and use that, but if we go over to our nuclear setup, so I think we've got enough for about 19 gigawatts now. If you store the steam, it only works if you shut down the reactors, as in the 19 gigawatts is still the maximum you can have, but you can just use it more efficiently by having the stored steam then be used to process, unless you then set up additional logic to have processing below that comes off the stored steam when your demand is high enough. Which maybe that's something we could look into, but I thought instead I would use some accumulators so that we can top up the power usage when we need to. But if I look at my power, oh, there you go. See, every now and then it hits, but it would seem that all those accumulators actually aren't nearly enough to make up the difference. That's kind of what I'm learning here. And my 19 gigawatts looks like it's more 18 gigawatts rather than 19. No, maybe it's 19. It's hard to say, this bounces all over the place. We perhaps need more accumulators to make up for this fluctuation. Anyway, that's sort of a distraction. So we have those issues. Now, our production is actually, if we look at 1 minute, because that makes it a little bit easier, you can see we're doing just over 2,000 a minute of each of the sciences, which is only okay because I noticed that we'd produced enough of the satellites to have enough space science, which is why I switched the research over to the worker robot speed, because obviously that will help us somewhat. And having a quick look at research tech, you can see we've done 10-15% maybe of faster than light theory C. So unlike normal playthroughs of SpaceX, it does not look like it's going to be that hard to finish all of the research even at 16 times. It's more the production that's taking over in terms of difficulty, and especially these dry dock assembly components, they're not going up very fast. I mean, we've launched, this number's kind of included in here, but 382 plus 160 is 547 launches which, I mean, I guess you could argue that 207 or so weren't strictly necessary for the SpaceX, but given how much it improved our UPS, it kind of was necessary. What are we running at? About 47,000 robots in this area. So what I think I'll do, and this is running with 6 legs, so this is a bit of a problem. I mean, there's multiple ways I could address that. I could either build or look for a mod that allows me to increase the carrying capacity of the robots, but that seems to be an out-and-out cheat. I mean, there's nothing I'm doing at the moment that goes beyond vanilla as far as the ability to produce stuff, so it's kind of completely fair and honest in that regard, and I guess I'd kind of like to keep it that way. But what I can do is I can increase that, the amount of steel we need. If I increase that to 200,000, that should change the ratios, give us more steel production. Because at the very least I'd like to get it off negative, but it's not really the solution, the long-term solution. So really what the solution and the problem is more, as mentioned before, well, I mean, it might not be, we've dropped about 100,000 there, but this might not be the biggest issue. It is a fairly big issue. We'll need to come down here, but 76 million will take care of that. And we've got a few others here as well. So my idea is I'll run a train, probably have it park in here. Probably means I want to fill this up. There's lots of coal around here. Get to the coal, but I need to sort out the iron as well, because these are not filling up with ore nearly fast enough, so we need to bring this online. Maybe that's the priority. The other thing is, once we do get the iron moving a bit faster, I probably will want to create a steel. So maybe pop down here and have another one of these that just uses up iron and makes steel, or even one off to the side here. It's hard to know, really. Let's just take a look at up here so we can see how these things are going. I mean, you can see there the assembly. That's the, let's have a look at how much those cost to produce. So that is the structural component, that's doing fine, but the assembly component, it needs 800 assembly robots, 160 roboports, 3,200 of the processing unit solar panels, and 1,600 of the low density structures. Well, you can see that basically everything except the robots is fine, and we're barely half of the robots, so that is where the problem is. Now this thing here is not running continuously, and that's kind of the problem as well. So we're not getting robots fast enough to be making these nearly fast enough, which is why, well, I mean, these numbers keep going up. What I might do is, we're above how many we need for worker robot speed 13, so I've already increased the volume of steel that's being produced. I doubt it's, that's not the one I want to look at. I doubt steel is going to become positive because of that anytime soon. No, in fact it looks even worse. But what we can do is, if we run all the way across the factory, well, run at this UPS, it's virtually a walk, but if we come all the way across the factory, we can probably get lost in the maze of robots at work everywhere. But in addition to that, we can come over here to let's have a look. What's that? I don't know what that is. Oh, that's how many things to produce have on stock. Oh, okay, so this is my controller for the SpaceX components, but we're just producing satellites regardless. So what I think I would like to do is stop producing satellites. What is the satellite missing? Solar panels, right. So, maybe what we do is we'll turn that to the side. So it won't produce solar panels now, and we won't produce satellites until we come back to that. I kind of don't really like that mechanism, but we want 200 in there, do we? Yeah, I don't want to change that. So we'll fill up that, and then that will be one source of demand that stops calling for things. How are we doing here? 426. So, I mean, it is going up, and it is going up quite fast, but it's just these things, it just needs a lot of it. So the other thing, once we sort out our supply of product issues, we obviously need to increase the rate at which we are producing. Oh no, we've got enough construction bots. Low density structures. And when this finishes, this will go faster from that point of view. How many bots are we requesting here? 400. Oh, okay. 50 low density structures probably isn't enough though. Let's make that 400 as well. Wonder if that will help to get this running a little bit more constantly. Maybe. 440. Maybe that will help. Here is the supply train. That's a long way off. Let's see if it... So this one stocks up the rocket assembly that we've got. And now it's just waiting for... It's got enough for 2 launches basically on board. So it's waiting for 2 things to launch, 2 of anything to launch. Which can be satellites, but we're not making satellites anymore. I've stopped that production, so it will have to be either these things that need, I think, 3200. Is that right? Yes, 3200 low density structures to build one, or one of these that needs 400. Well, it needs 800 of the robots. I mean, it is going up, but that is going to take a while. Long while. So because these things aren't being produced at the rate of 1 a minute or so, that's clearly why we are not launching at that rate, but I mean we've obviously done a lot of launches. We're almost up to 550 launches completely natively. I was kind of hoping to use the train to take me to the launch site, because that would save me doing a little bit of running around. But I guess I could always come down here and use the plastics train. No, it's just left. So that's not going to help me that much. How are we doing? Still nothing. Still a long way away. Oh, this is going to take too long, so probably what I need actually is the engineering train to create that coal and the extra iron, and those will probably have to be my tasks for the next episode. So this was pretty much just an update really. What I might quickly show you is the state of so this one, the top rung of the four-way is in the way there, but obviously I'd like to bring it over here so that we can eventually sort of, be accessing the copper and whatever other goodies are way out here. On this side, this is getting very low now, but we still have this one here with 600. So if we just again line that up. So basically as soon as that one's done, 600 iron ore, we'll be able to come through there. And we probably want to get through that one with 7,000 as well. Ideally. Although, if the worst came to the worst, I probably could just run straight through it. And then cross over here and open up another whole section. And the other thing, of course, that's going to happen when we start doing that is a lot of these other supplies are going to start fading out, like this one, 661, that's as bad as iron in the way, although it doesn't have any speed modules, so it's not going quite so fast. 6.7, 3.4, this one which was our first ever mine. Wow, there's a large part of that that is not even connected, so I might even have to come up here and move the roboports in so that these all are in range, because they're just not in range anymore. So I guess that's what we might do first, then grab the engineering train, then bring this one online to add to the iron ore, then bring this online to become our new source of coal. How's coal doing now? 7.3. It's going down, not that fast, but it is definitely going down. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I know we didn't really do anything. We changed the ratio of steel, we turned off satellites, and worked out what we were going to do, and that was about it. But we will do more next episode, and we'll have done some of these. We'll be in the process of doing it, so I will see you then. Thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.